It's late at night, you're exhausted and decide to call it a day, so you crawl into bed and pull up the covers to get all snug and safe. Only something's wrong. A cold chill runs down your back, your hair stands on end, your brain sends out that familiar but chilling feeling. You're being watched. You try to tell yourself that it's just your imagination. Maybe it was something that you ate, yet something tugs on your mind, telling you not to look down at the floor of your own room. Moments later, it tells you not to look towards the foot of your bed because it's getting closer but makes no sound. Betraying your base instincts, you summon all of your willpower and manage to force your eyes to it, only to see a dark figure. So dark it's been referred to as living darkness. Maybe it's your mind, or maybe it's a real creature with evil yet unknown intentions. Get ready to sleep with the lights on because this is the Dark Chronicles. The shadow people that walk among us. Whether you're a steadfast believer in their existence or a skeptic who thinks it's all just in our minds, there's no denying the terror that shadow people can bring to those who see them. Shadow people are often described as featureless, varying in height and assumed weight, but made of some kind of darker than normal shadow. This shadow, in contrast with the rest of the usually dark rooms that they're seen in, is much more opaque and often has a haziness to it that makes it appear as if it's forming through dimensions or otherwise out of focus. In fact, looking into one has been compared to looking into a black hole in humanoid form, as not only are they terrifying in appearance, but they often carry a feeling of emptiness. It's kind of like what a human might be if everything positive and good were stripped away and this was what was left. Some have clothing, such as robes or hats, though these too are made of a shadowy substance. Some even carry canes or staffs, leading some to believe that they're ancient ghosts of some kind, carrying with them and wearing what they did in life. In some cases, shadow people have been observed manipulating objects, and some observers have reported hearing the creature's voice, despite the lack of an identifiable mouth through which it speaks. Often it's the observer's name being uttered over and over, or a short burst of syllables, like that of gibberish. Other times, the figure's appearance coincides with the sound of disembodied voices, delivering their own warnings to the observer. Some people know well ahead of time not to look or even acknowledge the presence of when they hear them. But others have also experienced certain smells that came into being at the exact same time that a shadow person was seen. These scents include awful ones such as body odor or sulfur, and sometimes nicer scents such as perfume. Seeing shadow people often happens during sleep paralysis, which is a naturally occurring state of the body in which an individual seemingly wakes up only they find they cannot move. The paralysis is temporary, and it's the brain's way of preventing the body from physically reacting or otherwise moving during dreams. Though they appear to move and act as living creatures, sometimes aggressively or with perceived malice, the reason for shadow people appearing is still unknown, though there are, of course, quite a few theories regarding this. Many who have encountered these dark figures have expressed a feeling of impending doom, with the shadow creature either acting as a warning of some horrible upcoming event, or directly representing the bringer of that horribleness. Furthermore, it's been speculated that the shadow people serve some higher power, be it demonic, extraterrestrial, or even some manipulator of the dark arts. For centuries, there have been tales of witches and other magic wielders who could control light and darkness, and thus summon creatures of shadow to do their bidding. Could these creatures be the servants of such a being? On rare occasions, multiple shadow people have been witnessed at the same time. Some have claimed to hear whispers between the figures, sometimes low in tone and indecipherable, while other times they actually talk about the observer. Multiple shadow people have been seen working independently of one another, as if each one has been tasked with a different objective. But they've also been witnessed working together to reach a common goal, such as holding the observer down, or simply surrounding them to create as much fear as possible. While it's unclear exactly what the creatures want from us, there is a documented correlation between the anxiety levels of the human beings seeing them and the frequency of the shadow people's appearances. A similar correlation exists between the stress levels of the observer and the actions taken by the apparition, especially when it comes to physical interactions with them. One can only hope that these creatures don't wish to unalive us, as it's difficult to see exactly how we'd be able to stop them. Indeed, if the shadow people's intent is to take us with them, dragging our terrified selves into some unfathomable place of darkness, then all we can really do is hope that we're not on whatever twisted list they possess. On top of giving off a certain smell, speaking without mouths, and of course, appearing before the observer, many shadow people have been reported to take physical actions, including manipulating objects or even harming the witness. Most severe encounters have included the creature seeming to lunge at the observer, scratch or bite them, or even pin them down with their hands, or by sitting on the individual's chest. Varying temperatures have been observed when physical contact has been made, with some claiming the shadow person was warm, as if a real human being were made of shadow, while others have described the figures of having hands that are cold as ice. Though rare, harm has been reported, with some claiming encounters left them with scratches and bite marks. This has led many to believing the creatures cannot be fictitious, as pain and marks shouldn't be possible in a dream. Shadow people might be here to warn us, scare us, or even something more sinister, because if their intention is to unalive people, and they're capable of such actions, then terrifyingly, it's impossible for us to know it. As there are many cases of healthy individuals going to bed and simply never waking up, who's to say that the last thing that they saw while alive wasn't a dark figure lurking closer and closer to them as they lay in bed, petrified? Numerous religions, belief systems, and folklore tell us of the existence of the shadow people, with some calling them supernatural entities. For instance, the jinn from certain Islamic beliefs are typically invisible, said to be composed of thin but subtle bodies, but capable of changing their form and even possessing those who have wronged them. Called on by believers for protection or magical aid, these creatures are not always evil, with some even looking to better the world and humanity. Many strongly believe that the shadow people are exactly what they appear to be: ghosts. Perhaps they knew the observer in life, which is why they appear to them, or once resided in the home the individual now occupies, and they continue to haunt it. Alternatively, these could be demonic presences with sinister motives, or simply be servants of a demonic entity doing the bidding of their sinister master. Another theory suggests that these dark figures are not dead at all, but are in fact living, breathing human beings, but on a plane of existence normally unseeable by us. They could be just as surprised to encounter us as we are to encounter them, and are just going about their lives in some parallel universe that we can somehow tap into as our minds enter a restful state. It's also been put forward that they might be time travelers who can't quite phase into our time without serious tampering of the timeline, meaning that they would appear fully and it would change the future. Yet another theory points to them being extraterrestrials, perhaps with the ability to keep us in a sleep-like state as they run experiments on the unconscious humans, some of whom manage to stay awake in their presence. In this way, the creatures could be slowly discovering our weaknesses, or simply looking to learn about us before officially saying hello. Of course, there are many who believe the shadow people are made up by the human brain, coming into being due to severe exhaustion, stress, or simply mental illnesses. However, there are many accounts of people witnessing them before even hearing about them. Could this be some kind of default nightmare that every person is born with? Or is the simpler explanation for this that the shadow people are absolutely real? Unfortunately, due to the fact that we still don't know exactly what these apparitions are, there's no universally agreed upon way to rid yourself of a shadow person. Though many have methods that seemingly worked for them, at least in making the figures temporarily leave. Some who have encountered shadow people have had their homes and selves blessed, with some electing to have an exorcism performed to try to cleanse their souls of the demonic presences that haunt them in the night. Others have attempted to alter their environments in reorganizing their rooms, and some have found some success. Perhaps this is because the creatures no longer recognize the room that they're in. Many even claim humor can help protect you from shadow people. Simply laughing for a short time is scientifically proven to improve your mood, and thus make you no longer worth a visit from the dark figures. Or could it mean that your anxiety is reduced to a point where the hallucinations no longer occur? Regardless of what they are, laughing at, politely engaging with, or even ignoring the creatures is recommended. Though many have found peace after calling out the entities, yelling at them to go away, or attempting to physically engage them somehow, this is not a method you should ever attempt unless all else fails. There's no telling what actions the shadow people might take if their appearance is met with hostility, and based on their track record, it's better to leave them alone on their own. Finally, if you're ever actually being pinned or physically engaged with a shadow person, make as much noise as possible. Cry out, struggle to let anyone within earshot know that you're in danger. Either you'll wake up from this horrible nightmare, or the creature will be met with the attention that it desires. Either way, good luck, because you'll need it. So tonight, when you're feeling all safe in your bed with the covers pulled up to your chin as you try to find a happy memory or fantasy to help keep a smile on your face and allow your positive dreams, try not to notice that dark figure lurking in the blackest corners of your room, creeping along until it's at the foot of your bed, its intentions unknown but seemingly sinister. No, don't pay attention, and maybe you'll be spared by the shadow people. But thank you for watching this video. If you guys are enjoying this new documentary series, please give it a like, leave a comment, and of course share it, because all those things help me out tremendously. And of course, if you want to follow me on all socials, including Twitch, because I'm live almost every day, links are in the description. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.